APSEX Online Support Program, Class 9, Week 14, Lesson 18, Subject Biology. Textbook Biology, page number 173, 176, 184. Unit 9, Transport. Topic: Transpiration. Resources required. Biology text. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to revise transpiration, types of transpiration, significance of transpiration, and blood. Transpiration. Students, you all know about transpiration, that it is the evaporation or it is the loss of the water from the aerial part of the plant body. You all know, students, that even human body, the loss of water take place in the form of sweating. Same is the case with the plants. From the plants, the water is transpired, the water is evaporated in the hot summer seasons or in the presence of the sunlight. So transpiration is directly related to the sunlight. So definition is, transpiration is the loss of water from plant surface through evaporation. Types of transpiration, that are stomatal transpiration, lenticular transpiration, and cuticular transpiration. First, we will be discussing the stomatal transpiration. You all know about the stomata that are present on the surface of the leaves in the form of a small pores, which helps in the exchange of gases as well as in the transpiration. Stomata are guarded by the two guard cells as well. They are open during the daytime, and at night time the stomata are closed. So the loss of water through stomata is called stomatal transpiration. Remember, students, that most of the transpiration take place through stomata. About 90% of water is being transpired from stomata as compared to the lenticels and the cuticles. We will be discussing the mechanism of the stomatal transpiration as well, that how transpiration is being taken place with the help of the stomata. Inside the leaf, you all know that mesophyll cells are present, right? So the mesophyll cells will provide the large surface area for evaporation. Water is drawn from the xylem into the mesophyll cells, where it comes out and makes a water film on the cell walls of the mesophyll. It means that students, you all know that xylem is responsible for the conduction of the water. So from the xylem, the water will move to the flowing mesophyll cells. As it moves to the mesophyll cells, so it will make a water film, a channel of a water, and they will surround the cell wall of the mesophyll. From here, the water will evaporate into the air spaces. Air spaces are present inside the leaf, so the water will molecules will come inside the air spaces, and from the air spaces it will be diffuses into the stomata, and from stomata it will be evaporated to the outside of the air. Look at this diagram, students. You can see this internal structure of the leaf. You can see the mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells comprises of the palisades parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. These two cells, when combined together, they will these two cells combinedly are known as mesophyll cells, and you can see that from the xylem the water will come to these mesophyll cells. They will surround the cell wall of the mesophyll cells. After that, it will come into the air spaces. You can see these air spaces that are present just below the spongy cells. So the water will come into the air spaces, and from the air spaces the water will diffuse to the outside environment, to the stomata, right? You can see the opening of the leaf. You can see this is called stomata, and it is guarded by two guard cells. So from here the water is diffuses out into the external environment. The second type of the transpiration is lenticular transpiration. Lenticular transpiration means the transpiration that take place with the help of the lenticels. What are lenticels? Lenticels are actually the small pores that are present on the stem. So when the water used to evaporate from these stems, so they are, that type of transpiration is known as lenticular transpiration. Look at the definition of the lenticular transpiration. Evaporation from the lenticels or holes of the stem is called lenticular transpiration. Third type of the transpiration is cuticular transpiration, means the evaporation of the water from the cuticle of the leaf is called as cuticular transpiration. Cuticle is present on the leaf, right? It is present inside the leaf, and when the transpiration or the evaporation of the water taken place with the help of the cuticle, so that transpiration is known as cuticular transpiration. The loss of water through the cuticle present on the leaf epidermis, it is actually present on the upper epidermis of the leaf, and this is called as cuticular. Here you can see the diagrams of the stomatal transpiration, the cuticular transpiration, and the lenticular transpiration. So look at the stomatal transpiration, that this type of transpiration take place with the help of a stomata, the small pores that are present on the leaf surface. Cuticle transpiration, that type of transpiration that take place with the help of the cuticle. A cuticle is a layer that is present above the upper epidermis, right? And the lenticular transpiration, the small pores that are present on the stem, and when the water is being evaporated from these lenticels, that type of transpiration is known as lenticular transpiration. We have discussed the transpiration, definition of the transpiration, types of the transpiration. Now come towards the significance of the transpiration, that how transpiration is useful and how transpiration is harmful for a plant body. So if we are talking about the significance, or if we are talking about the transpiration, it is a necessary evil, means that it is good as well as it is bad for a plant. It means that transpiration is a potentially harmful process but is unavoidable too. We will be discussing the two facts one by one. First, the harmful. Why transpiration is harmful? It is harmful in the sense that during drought or loss of water from the plants result in serious desiccation, wilting, and often death. Like during the transpiration, you all know, students, that it is the evaporation of the water from the plant body. If whole water is being transpired or it is being evaporated from a plant, so then it will result in wilting and often death of a plant body, right? Why it is necessary? Students, it is necessary because it helps in transpiration pull. What is transpiration pull? Transpiration pull is a kind of a pull which help to take the water from the roots towards the upper part of the plant body. You all know that xylem is present in the lower part of the plant body. Whenever xylem conduct water, so how it is transported to the upper part of the body? It is transported to upper part of the body with the help of a transpiration pull. Transpiration pull was actually discovered by cohesion, right? In this theory, cohesion tension theory, it actually tells us about that when one water molecule move up with the help of a pull, so another water molecule will follow that water molecule, the first water molecule, and in this way a film or a chain will be made that will help the water to move to the upper part of the body. So this is called the transpiration pull. With the help of the transpiration pull, actually transpiration take place, the evaporation of the water molecule take place, right? So if there was no transpiration pull, so there would be no any transpiration inside the body. What is the second why it is necessary? The second, look at to the second point, that is transpiration pull is responsible for the conduction of the water and salts from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant body. Okay, so this was about the transpiration pull. Come towards the next point, that it causes cooling effect on the plant body. When the water is evaporated from the plant body, so it will cause a cooling effect to the plant body. And the last is that wet surface allows the gaseous exchange. If the plant body is wet, if its surface is wet, so it will help in the gaseous exchange, the exchange of the carbon dioxide and oxygen between the environment and the plant body. Transport in humans. So transport of different materials in a human body is performed by two systems, that is blood circulatory system and lymphatic system. Two systems are involved in transporting the different kind of materials inside the human body, that is the blood circulatory system and the lymphatic system. Remember students that these two systems work in a coordinated manner. First we will be discussing the blood circulatory system. What is blood circulatory system? Blood circulatory system actually it is made up of blood vessels. Blood vessels are the veins, arteries and capillaries. Vein carry the deoxygenated blood, artery carry the oxygenated blood, and capillary help in the exchange of the different kind of gases, right? So actually these all combine together and they make the blood circulatory system. They help to transport the blood across the body. Arteries contain the oxygenated blood away from the heart. Veins carry the oxygenated blood towards the heart, right? So when they all combine together, they will make a blood circulatory. What is lymphatic system, students? Actually the lymphatic system is the network of the organs, tissues and the vessels, right? So inside the lymphatic system, lymph actually flows throughout the body. What is lymph? Lymph is a clear fluid that contains a high concentration of white blood cells and plays an important role in the immune responses. So lymphatic system is actually the network of the organs, tissues and the vessels, and inside the lymphatic system the lymph flows. And what is lymph? Lymph is a whitish kind of a fluid, or it is in this high concentration of white blood cells are present, and you all know that the function of the white blood cells is to play important role in the immune responses. So the circulatory system and the lymphatic system are well coordinated and associated with each other, and like other vertebrates, humans have a closed blood circulatory system. All of the vertebrates have a closed blood circulatory system. As for the arthropods, they have open circulatory system. Arthropod consists of actually the cockroaches and the ants. They have the open circulatory system, but we are having the closed circulatory system because our inside our body different kind of blood vessels are present, and the blood vessel comprises of arteries, veins and capillaries, and they work with in a closed channel. So closed circulatory system is defined as the blood closed at all times within the vessels of different size and wall thickness. It means that veins is having some kind of thickness. The arteries will be not having that kind of thickness. They vary in thickness. Their cell wall vary in thickness, right? In this type of systems, blood is pumped by a heart through vessels and does not normally fills the body cavities. As for the arthropods, they fill the body cavities, but inside the closed circulatory system, the blood is inside they didn't fill the body cavities. So students, this was all about your today's lecture. Thank you so much.